This is me at my lowest point. I was broken, defeated, anxious, and depressed. All I wanted to do was end my life. And even though I didn't have any big problems, it felt like my life wasn't worth living. Now, this is me. And today we're going to take a trip back in time and explore how I went from hating myself to loving myself. From wanting to end my life to saving other people's lives. From being the most scared and anxious person in the world to being fearless. When I was 14 years old, I was really into video games and junk food. This is what my daily diet looked like. For breakfast, I had cereal. For lunch, I had whatever my mom made. But mostly, I just ate chips. And for dinner, I had whatever my mom made again. And of course, in between meals, I always had some snacks. The thing is, I was really active when I was young, so I never gained much weight. However, I knew that if I continued this lifestyle, I would eventually become obese. At age 16, I started to notice that I was getting out of breath much faster than I used to when playing soccer with my friends. So I decided that I needed to start working out. The first gym I joined was full of huge meatheads that were sitting around, grunting, staring at their phones, and flexing in front of the mirror. Needless to say, I didn't feel very welcomed there, so I only lasted 1 week before canceling my membership. One day after school, I saw an advertisement on TV about a parkour gym. It was called Free Running. So I thought to myself, well, they're probably more accepting and less judgmental than the gym. When I got there, I was met with a huge smile by the owner. He was super friendly and gave me a tour around the gym. It looked awesome. There were trampolines, monkey bars, foam pits, and more. Plus all the students seemed really happy and motivated. So I decided to join, and I fell in love with it immediately. As soon as I started training, I noticed 2 things. First, my anxiety and depression started to go away almost instantly. Second, I became obsessed with my body composition. I remember doing pull-ups for the first time and only being able to do 1. So I wrote down a note in my diary that said, by next year, I want to be able to do 20 pull-ups. Then I proceeded to train my butt off every single day for the next year in order to accomplish this goal. 1 year later, I walked into the gym and did my first 20 pull-ups and even recorded a video of it. Here it is. That day was one of the happiest days of my life. And ever since then, I became addicted to solving this equation, which is working out equals happiness. However, there was one problem. I was still skinny, and no matter how much I trained, I couldn't put on any muscle mass. So I decided to go see a personal trainer in order to learn how to build muscle strength and get stronger. The trainer taught me the fundamentals of exercise science, which is summarized in these 3 points. Number 1, progressively overload your muscles over time. No. 2, make sure you eat enough protein. And number 3, rest and recover. Using this formula, I was finally able to gain some muscle mass and get stronger. So I thought to myself, maybe I can be a personal trainer too and help other people reach their fitness goals. But at the same time, something was missing. Like I was excited whenever I finished a workout. But I was even more excited when I found out that women liked guys with big biceps. So I decided to switch my focus from becoming a good personal trainer to becoming as jacked as possible. For the next 5 years, I experimented with different workout programs and diets, and tested them out on myself in order to find the optimal program that would give me the best results possible. In other words, I was trying to solve the equation that says, how do I maximize muscle growth? During this time, I also began working as a personal trainer. My job was to simply follow a program that I had created for each client. They would come in, we would do the workout, and then we would discuss nutrition. But I realized that most of my clients weren't following their diet plan, and that's why they weren't getting results. So I tried being a bit more creative and fun, and making their diet plans easier to follow. And guess what happened? They stopped quitting. This is where my passion for nutrition truly began. I wanted to understand the reason behind why people weren't following their diet plans. So I went back to school and got a degree in nutritional science. By now, I felt like I knew everything about fitness. So I thought to myself, okay, it's time to open up my own gym. The gym was a great success and my clients loved it. But after a while, I started to get bored, because I had reached my maximum potential as a gym owner. I felt like a bird that had been caged its whole life. So I decided to move to Las Vegas and pursue a career online. Around the same time, a good friend of mine, Chris, who was also a personal trainer, told me about an opportunity. He said, I think you need to start making YouTube videos. At first I thought to myself, no way, I don't want to show my face online. But he insisted and said, you will regret it if you don't at least try. So I took his advice, bought a camera, and recorded my first video. Making the first video was easy. Making the second video was harder. Making the third video was even harder, but it was still easy. But making the 10th video was extremely hard. That's when I questioned myself, why am I doing this? I worked so hard on that video and I'm not even sure that anyone will watch it. And if they do, they're probably gonna hate it. Well, I'm glad you watched it and I'm glad you liked it. Creating online content is the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life, but the biggest reward is being able to impact people's lives from all around the world. With every comment, email, and message that I receive, I feel so blessed and grateful for being able to do this for a living. So here are 10 important lessons I've learned along the way. Lesson No. 1. If you want to change your life, you must first change your mindset. If you believe that you're weak, you will always be weak. But if you believe that you're strong, you can actually become strong. The mind is more powerful than anything else. Lesson number 2. We often blame others for our own mistakes. For example, I used to blame my parents for not giving me enough money when I was starting my business. But in reality, it was my own fault for not having enough money, because I was spending it on unnecessary things. Lesson number 3. The only way to avoid pain is by running away from reality. You can escape reality through video games, pornography, alcohol, drugs, social media, Netflix, or junk food. But once you stop escaping, the pain will come back. This is why it's much better to endure the pain now, so that you can live a happy and free life later on. Lesson No. 4. As we grow older, we lose motivation and willpower. This is a natural part of life. But if you really want to accomplish something, you will find ways to overcome any obstacle. Lesson No. 5. In order to achieve success, we must accept failure as part of the journey. As long as you keep failing forward, you will eventually achieve your goals. Lesson number 6. Knowledge is useless without action. Lesson number 7. If you want to save time, then work harder. Lesson number 8. Treat your friends and family better. Life is too short. Lesson number 9. Enjoy the process and celebrate small victories. Lesson number 10. Never ever give up. Now I want you to ask yourself, who am I? What do I stand for? What are my values? And how can I improve? If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel.